You're not gonna believe this, girl.
Mom! Dad! Dad, have you seen this?
I did it.
Wells Fargo helps thousands of students go to college
He got in.
by funding $107 million in scholarships and programming for diverse communities.
Don't worry. I'll be back.
When a bank does what it says,
I knew you could do it!
opportunity happens. Doing gets it done. Wells Fargo, the bank of doing.
I'm John Lassiter, the 2023 Wells Fargo Northeast Region Principal of the Year at Hertford Grammar School in Perquimans County, North Carolina.
I am Ashley Falconberry, the 2023 Wells Fargo Southeast Region Principal of the Year at Trent Park Elementary School.
I am Dr. William Logan, the 2023 Wells Fargo North Central Region Principal of the Year here at Hillside High School.
I'm Jim Butler, the 2023 Wells Fargo Sand Hills Region Principal of the Year at Richmond Senior High School.
I am Donna Bledsoe, the 2023 Wells Fargo Piedmont Triad Region Principal of the Year at Cedar Ridge Elementary. I'm Tanya Williams, the 2023 Wells Fargo Southwest Region Principal of the Year at Concord Middle School.
I am Jessie Gravel, and I'm the 2023 Wells Fargo Northwest Region Principal of the Year at Drexel Elementary School.
I am Rafika Cobb, the 2023 Wells Fargo Western Region Principal of the Year at R.B. Jones Elementary School.
I am TJ Worrell, the 2023 Wells Fargo Charter School Principal of the Year for Northeast Academy for Aerospace and Advanced Technologies.
Lesson plans, quarterly plans, student development plans. You go the extra mile planning for others. Who goes the distance for you? At Equitable, we've been working with educators for over 160 years. Let's build a plan that reflects where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. So whatever you imagine for your future, let us show you how a retirement savings plan can help. You have the vision, we have the blueprint. Let's plan how.
At No Kid Hungry, we're working to increase access to healthy meals for children. We hope this year's Principal of the Year cohort will work with others to realize the connection between school meals, academic achievement, and social-emotional health. As a proud sponsor of the Principal of the Year program, we are awarding each finalist a large screen TV for your school. Congratulations from No Kid Hungry.
When I left the teaching fellows at NC State, I came home and I started teaching at Johnny Holmes in Edenton-Chowan school system. That was my first opportunity, and I was hired coming out of the recession. And so I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I met my wife at NC State, and we moved back home to be close to family and serve the community that helped raise me. And it just opened doors to invest in the community that I had grown to love.
I have taught in every area of New Bern. I started at Creekside Elementary School, where I taught 3rd grade, where then I moved as an assistant principal to the east side of our district and spent 3 years as assistant principal and principal. I then moved as a middle school principal in the west of our district, which is vastly different than the east part of our district. And I now landed in the central region of Craven County, where I serve Trent Park Elementary. We are a very diverse school, and this is unlike any of the other schools in our district, which we are very proud to have such a global community.
We had a course called Intro to Education, and one of our responsibilities in that course was to make sure that we actually visited a local school to do an observation. I think like 3 hours or something like that was the requirement. And I went into one teacher's, I think her name was Rowena Lodeholt, and she was an English teacher at Orangeburg Wilkinson High School. And I went into her class, I did an observation in there and fell in love with what she was doing, and I have been in love with education ever since.
I've always referred to myself as an accidental educator. When I graduated from college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I took a job in teaching social studies, and it was the best thing ever happened to me. And it's one of those people that accidentally found exactly what I thought or what I found that I should do. And it was the same way with being a principal. I was perfectly content to be a coach and be a teacher and be in the classroom. Someone suggested that we go back to school, so I did that, and things worked out, and I kind of found my niche. So I was an accidental teacher, and then I accidentally became a principal, but it's one of those happy accidents that really worked out.
A lot of my leadership is born from my experience as a student. I struggled academically as a student. It was very difficult for me to learn to read. As a young child, my earliest memories are being put into low reading groups and my mother crying to help me learn to read. And so when I became a principal and had the opportunity, one of the things that I wanted to change was to make sure that all students felt successful and found a love of literacy, because I believe that that is a pathway to change your world.
I remember Miss Sims in Winston-Salem growing up, and I loved everything about her. I mean, I remember she did a home visit. I mean, that was just something that was just so neat to me. I remember begging her for her anchor charts. Can I please have them when you're finished with that? Bringing those anchor charts home and lining up my teddy bears and stuffed animals and making my brother sit there and play school. I mean, that was just something that I always thought I wanted to do and be. That's just what I wanted to do. And then I went to college. I was an Appalachian State graduate. I changed my major when I was in school, and I graduated with communication disorders. Went back immediately after I graduated and went to UNCC and got my K-6 certification and went right back into education.
So I am from a long line of strong women who were all in education. It goes all the way back to my great-grandmother, my nanny, who was a cafeteria worker. She was so proud of that. I've always seen myself as an educator. I truly was the kid teaching my younger brothers how to read, how to play school. I'm sure I got on their nerves a lot, but school was fun for me. It's my happy place. If I could go to school and get paid for it full time, I'd do it. Give me a syllabus and a highlighter, and I'm as happy as I can be.
I decided to become a teacher my junior year of college. I started tutoring and working with one of the local elementary schools where I was going to college. I went to Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. It's a historically Black college university. And it's a great community with some really great schools, and I fell in love with the local children who were there that I was tutoring. So I continued to major in biology, but then I decided that I wanted to go into education. So when I graduated, I began teaching in Rialto, California. I started teaching middle school math and science, and I fell in love with education ever since.
I'm finishing up my 25th year of education, and I've lived in northeastern North Carolina my entire life. I've had the pleasure of working in several different school districts, and as we may or may not know, northeastern North Carolina is a rural community, and I've had the pleasure of serving as the administrator for several middle schools and high school of the region who were all deemed low performing. And when you're at a low performing school, you know you have barriers to learning. You know you have to put extra time and effort in to support student learning. And we worked at those schools diligently to improve student growth. But coming to NEAT, as we call it, a public charter school, we had a little bit more flexibilities. We were serving the same students. And at NEAT, we treat how we do inquiry-based learning to really impact the same students that I was serving at those other schools, but we're able to have more flexibilities.
Everything we do at EF is driven by our mission of opening the world through education. And every day, we see that the life-changing benefits of educational travel are just as big for educators as they are for students. We assemble the most exciting voices in global education, partner with pioneers who are pushing for new possibilities, and invite you to participate in a weekend of learning, collaboration, and connection.
You're only as good as your network. And the collective efficacy of this group that has assembled here in Boston during this weekend is just infectious. I've learned so much from them. I thought I knew a lot.
The EF Global Education Symposium opens global possibilities and gives you the tools to inspire what's next.
Energy was absolutely amazing. Have never had that much positive feedback.
Last one right there.
Another reason I don't do social media, because stuff gets me.
Yeah, read that one. So.
The seniors won the Spirit Stick. This has been my first, quote, normal full year of high school. It's been the best thing I could have imagined.
You know, it was weird when I woke up this morning to get ready for school. It was a different feeling because of yesterday, because when I got up, I was excited. I was like, wow, okay, I'm ready to go. Because, you know, the morale hasn't been great, but yesterday was a tremendous boost.
I believe all students are unique individuals and they need teachers who can foster their unique learning needs.
I believe in the power of student voice. I think that's often a stakeholder that we leave out of discussions. It's all about what are the adults saying.
I believe in the power of education to change the trajectory of someone's life.
I believe that education has to be about creating positive experiences for students.
I believe every student can learn. I believe that students count on relationships with adults that motivate them to give their best.
I believe that the way we achieve equitable outcomes for all students is to teach them to be proficient readers.
So I believe it is our responsibility as educators to provide what's necessary for students to be successful.
I believe because all students can learn, I believe we owe it to them to do our best to tear down barriers that would prevent them from learning.
I fully believe in education that the heart and soul of what we do is making sure that every child has their basic needs met.
You're not gonna believe this, girl.
Mom! Dad! Dad, have you seen this?
I did it.
Wells Fargo helps thousands of students go to college
He got in.
by funding $107 million in scholarships and programming for diverse communities.
Don't worry. I'll be back.
When a bank does what it says,
I knew you could do it!
opportunity happens. Doing gets it done. Wells Fargo, the bank of doing.
I'm John Lassiter, the 2023 Wells Fargo Northeast Region Principal of the Year at Hertford Grammar School in Perquimans County, North Carolina.
I am Ashley Falconberry, the 2023 Wells Fargo Southeast at Trent Park Elementary School.
I am Dr. William Logan, the 2023 Wells Fargo North Central Region Principal of the Year here at Hillside High School.
I'm Jim Butler, the 2023 Wells Fargo Sand Hills Region Principal of the Year at Richmond Senior High School.
I am Donna Bledsoe, the 2023 Wells Fargo Piedmont Triad Region Principal of the Year at Cedar Ridge Elementary.
I'm Tanya Williams, the 2023 Wells Fargo Southwest Region Principal of the Year at Concord Middle School.
I am Jessie Gravel, and I'm the 2023 Wells Fargo Northwest Region Principal of the Year at Drexel Elementary School.
I am Rafika Cobb, the 2023 Wells Fargo Western Region Principal of the Year at R.B. Jones Elementary School.
I am TJ Worrell, the 2023 Wells Fargo Charter School Principal of the Year for Northeast Academy for Aerospace and Advanced Technologies.
Lesson plans, quarterly plans, student development plans. You go the extra mile planning for others. Who goes the distance for you? At Equitable, we've been working with educators for over 160 years. Let's build a plan that reflects where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. So whatever you imagine for your future, let us show you how a retirement savings plan can help. You have the vision. We have the blueprint. Let's plan how.
At No Kid Hungry, we're working to increase access to healthy meals for children. We hope this year's Principal of the Year cohort will work with others to realize the connection between school meals, academic achievement, and social emotional health. As a proud sponsor of the Principal of the Year program, we are awarding each finalist a large screen TV for your school. Congratulations from No Kid Hungry.
When I left the teaching fellows at NC State, I came home and I started teaching at Johnny Holmes in Eatonton-Chowan school system. That was my first opportunity, and I was hired coming out of the recession. And so I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I had met my wife at NC State. We moved back home to be close to family and serve the community that helped raise me. And it just opened doors to invest in the community that I had grown to love.
I have taught in every area of New Bern. I started at Creekside Elementary School, where I taught 3rd grade, then I moved as an assistant principal to the east side of our district and spent 3 years as assistant principal and principal. I then moved as a middle school principal in the west of our district, which is vastly different than the east part of our district. And I now landed in the central region of Craven County, where I serve Trent Park Elementary. We are a very diverse school, and this is unlike any of the other schools in our district, which we are very proud to have such a global community.
We had a course called Intro to Education, and one of our responsibilities in that course was to make sure that we actually visited a local school to do an observation. I think like 3 hours or something like that was the requirement. And I went into one teacher's, I think her name was Rowena Lodholt, and she was an English teacher at Orangeburg Wilkinson High School. And I went into her class, I did an observation in there and fell in love with what she was doing, and I have been in love with education ever since.
I've always referred to myself as an accidental educator. When I graduated from college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I took a job in teaching social studies, and it was the best thing ever happened to me. And it's one of those people that accidentally found exactly what I thought or what I found that I should do. And it was the same way with being a principal. I was perfectly content to be a coach and be a teacher and be in the classroom. Someone suggested that we go back to school, so I did that, and things worked out, and I kind of found my niche. So I was an accidental teacher, and then I accidentally became a principal, but it's one of those happy accidents that really worked out.
A lot of my leadership is born from my experience as a student. I struggled academically as a student. It was very difficult for me to learn to read. As a young child, my earliest memories are being put into low reading groups and my mother crying to help me learn to read. And so when I became a principal and had the opportunity, one of the things that I wanted to change was to make sure that all students felt successful and found a love of literacy, because I believe that that is a pathway to change your world.
I remember Miss Sims in Winston-Salem growing up, and I loved everything about her. I mean, I remember she did a home visit. I mean, that was just something that was just so neat to me. I remember begging her for her anchor charts. Can I please have them when you're finished with that? Bringing those anchor charts home and lining up my teddy bears and stuffed animals and making my brother sit there and play school. I mean, that was just something that I always thought I wanted to do and be. That's just what I wanted to do. And then I went to college. I was an Appalachian State graduate. I changed my major when I was in school, and I graduated with communication disorders. Went back immediately after I graduated and went to UNCC and got my K-6 certification and went right back into education.
So I am from a long line of strong women who were all in education. It goes all the way back to my great-grandmother, my Nani, who was a cafeteria worker. She was so proud of that. I've always seen myself as an educator. I truly was the kid teaching my younger brothers how to read, how to play school. I'm sure I got on their nerves a lot, but school was fun for me. It's my happy place. If I could go to school and get paid for it full time, I'd do it. Give me a syllabus and a highlighter, and I'm as happy as I can be.
I decided to become a teacher my junior year of college. I started tutoring and working with one of the local elementary schools where I was going to college. I went to Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. It's a historically Black college university. And it's a great community with some really great schools, and I fell in love with the local children who were there that I was tutoring. So I continued to major in biology, but then I decided that I wanted to go into education. So when I graduated, I began teaching, in Rialto, California. I started teaching middle school math and science, and I fell in love with education ever since.
I'm finishing up my 25th year of education, and I've lived in northeastern North Carolina my entire life. I've had the pleasure of working in several different school districts, and as we may or may not know, northeastern North Carolina is a rural community, and I've had the pleasure of serving as the administrator for several middle schools and high schools of the region who were all deemed low performing. And when you're at a low performing school, you know you have barriers to learning. You know you have to put extra time and effort in to support student learning. And we worked at those schools diligently to improve student growth. But coming to NEAT, as we call it, a public charter school, we had a little bit more flexibilities. We were serving the same students. And at NEAT, we treat how we do inquiry-based learning to really impact the same students that I was serving at those other schools, but we're able to have more flexibilities.
Everything we do at EF is driven by our mission of opening the world through education. And every day, we see that the life-changing benefits of educational travel are just as big for educators as they are for students. We assemble the most exciting voices in global education, partner with pioneers who are pushing for new possibilities, and invite you to participate in a weekend of learning, collaboration, and connection.
You're only as good as your network. And the collective efficacy of this group that has assembled here in Boston during this weekend is just infectious. I've learned so much from them. I thought I knew a lot.
The EF Global Education Symposium opens global possibilities and gives you the tools to inspire what's next.
Students' energy was absolutely amazing. Have never had that much positive feedback.
Last one right there.
Another reason I don't do social media, because stuff gets me.
Yeah, read that one. So.
The seniors won the Spirit Stick. This has been my first, quote, normal full year of high school. It's been the best thing I could have imagined.
You know, it was weird when I woke up this morning to get ready for school. It was a different feeling because of yesterday, because when I got up, I was excited. I was like, wow, okay, I'm ready to go. Because, you know, the morale hasn't been great, but yesterday was a tremendous boost.
I believe all students are unique individuals and they need teachers who can foster their unique learning needs.
I believe in the power of student voice. I think that's often a stakeholder that we leave out of discussions. It's all about what are the adults saying.
I believe in the power of education to change the trajectory of someone's life.
I believe that education has to be about creating positive experiences for students.
I believe every student can learn. I believe that students count on relationships with adults that motivate them to give their best.
I believe that the way we achieve equitable outcomes for all students is to teach them to be proficient readers.
So I believe it is our responsibility as educators to provide what's necessary for students to be successful.
I believe because all students can learn, I believe we owe it to them to do our best to tear down barriers that would prevent them from learning.
I fully believe in education that the heart and soul of what we do is making sure that every child has their basic needs met.
Good afternoon. From the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, welcome to the 2023 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year naming ceremony. Yes. I'm Sonia Brown, Education Program Director, and I lead the Educator Advancement Section, which is part of the unit known as the Office of District and Regional Support. It is my honor to help organize this ceremony for this year. This year, with the support of Equitable Advisors and PBS Instruction, this program is being live streamed across the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter platforms. We know this live stream opportunity will allow for school districts to cheer on their regional finalists and allow members of the education community to tune in live and celebrate the accomplishments of these outstanding finalists with us today. Today is about saluting each of the 9 finalists vying for the title of Principal of the Year. Will all 9 2023 finalists please stand? Thank you. These finalists represent the following school districts: Perquimans County Schools, Craven County Schools, Durham Public Schools, Richmond County Schools, Surrey County Schools, Cabarrus County Schools, Burke County Public Schools, Asheville City Schools, and the Northeast Charter Academy from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Principals, you have made your families so proud. And we are all proud of you for all of your outstanding accomplishments. Our sponsors are tremendous partners who make this day possible. Their support to our program is invaluable, and I would like to recognize them at this time. Representatives from Wells Fargo, our flagship sponsor, provides the financial support to enable us to hold this event. Please stand John Ward and Susie Kuntz and their team, Kristen Cowan, Carmen May, and Philip Armand. Representatives from Equitable Advisors, a financial services company, are financially responsible for our viewing audience to be able to watch the live stream ceremony. Please stand Marty Bullard, Jarian Karekas, Keith Poston, and Matt Lester. Representatives from No Kid Hungry North Carolina campaign is an initiative of the national nonprofit Share Our Strength program. It was started by Governor Beverly Perdue in 2011 and became a program at UNC Chapel Hill in 2014. Please stand Helen Roberts and Luann Crumpler. Education First could not be with us today, but Education First provides a regional participant with a unique opportunity to connect with a community of educators and organizations from across the country and the world. Representing Jostens, and they partner with schools across the country and internationally and help bring their mission, vision, and values to life through their branding initiatives, such as school yearbooks and pictures, and scholastic products such as class rings. Please stand Tricia Stagner. To the State Board of Education and the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, we thank you for your continued support of this recognition program. Please stand. And lastly, the North Carolina Principal of the Year and another finalist will compete nationally representing the high school level as the North Carolina Secondary Principal of the Year and representing the elementary and school level as the NAEPS Distinguished Principal of the Year through the North Carolina Association of School Administrators Professional Organization. At this time, I'm delighted to bring up the Senior Director of the Office of District and Regional Support, Dr. Cynthia Martin, as she would like to formally bring you greetings and welcome you to this ceremony.
Good afternoon. It is such a pleasure to be with you to celebrate and recognize great leadership from around the state. I'm Cynthia Martin, and I have the pleasure of leading the office that plans and executes this grand event, the Office of District and Regional Support. Our goal today is not only to name North Carolina's next Principal of the Year, but to also showcase these 9 leaders who have transformed schools, helped to improve instructional practices, and served as role models for students. Can we give them a hand, please? The Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year is a time-honored tradition dating back to 1984. The person bestowed with this distinguished honor feeds into a leadership support system, a legacy having the support of the following Principals of the Year, like our 2015 Principal of the Year, Dr. Steve Lassiter. Steve, please stand. Our 2016 Principal of the Year, Ms. Melody Chalmers McLean, please stand. She's not here. The 2017 Principal of the Year, Jason Griffin. The 2019 Principal of the Year, Matthew Bristow Smith. The 2020 Principal of the Year, Ms. Keisha Clemens. The 2021 Principal of the Year, Dr. Eleanor Ashburn. And also someone who needs no introduction, our 2018 North Carolina Principal of the Year, Mr. Tabari Wallace. Mr. Wallace also serves as a special advisor to State Superintendent Truitt on all things concerning principal engagement. Let's give them a round of applause. I would be remiss if I did not thank publicly our 2022 Principal of the Year, Dr. Patrick Green. Where are you, Patrick? Please stand. We would like to thank you for your service and support. There are a number of issues that I know that you've helped to get over the finish line, and we would like to say thank you. The entire 2023 Principal of the Year process started back in June of 2022 in each school district. If you thumb through your program, you will see the names of all the principals in the state that participated in our process. Narrowing the field from the local to district to regional level is a complex task led by Dr. Sonia Brown and the 8 regional education facilitators. Refs, if you could please stand. Thank you. They are helped along the way with a committee based from DPI known as the Recognition Committee. Could you all who serve on that committee please stand and be recognized? There are some other special leaders who have had the task of helping us to select who will be named the next Principal of the Year. They are our judges. I would like to recognize them. Dr. Randy Bridges, former North Carolina District Superintendent and former Superintendent of the Year, and now President of Creative Education Solutions. Thank you, Dr. Bridges. Dr. Mary Ann Wolf, President and Executive Director of the Public Schools Forum of North Carolina. Thank you. And I believe we have two other judges who couldn't be with us today. Dr. Shirley Prince, who is the Executive Director of the North Carolina Principals and Assistant Principals Association, and Dr. Dale Burns, former North Carolina District Superintendent. We would like to thank you all for your hard work, your service, and commitment to the profession and to this process. At this time, it is my honor to ask Mr. Alan Duncan to join us, who will bring us greetings on behalf of our State Board of Education.
Those are my friends. And I do appreciate them, as I am about to say. It is a privilege to be here today to honor the 2023 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year and all members of the cohort. It is genuinely an honor in a way that we sometimes need to step back and realize just how significant the work of these folks are. And to all educators, for those of us who are not educators, it is a great privilege to be in the same room with you. You represent greatness in our state, and we are so grateful for you, and we are honored to be in your presence. I bring greetings today from the members of the State Board of Education. I also want to thank Wells Fargo, our sponsor, longtime sponsor for this event, and in particular say thank you to Wells Fargo. Our board chair, Eric Davis, works for Wells Fargo. He also works for the State Board of Education constantly. I don't know when he sleeps, but I want to say thank you to Wells Fargo for letting such a wonderful public servant as Eric Davis be on our board while also attending to his corporate duties. I'd like to say that our board has truly enjoyed working with 2021 and 2022 Wells Fargo Principals of the Year, Dr. Elena Ashburn and Dr. Patrick Green, who you will hear more from. Their experience and insightful contributions have been a tremendous asset to the State Board. We value what they say. We have been a better board because we have listened to the things that they have told us, and we are most appreciative of that. I speak on behalf of all board members when I offer my gratitude to these outstanding principals for the tremendous job that they have done in serving as advisors to the board, along with their many predecessors who you also heard introduced. They have set the bar high, and we look forward to continuing to work with Dr. Green and with this year's winner over the coming year, and for this year's winner over the coming next 2 years. There's no question that principals shape the culture of a school. They build relationships and they nurture bonds among teachers and students. These relationships are what make a school a community instead of just a place to work or just a place to have to go to learn. They make all the difference. Principals set the tone for the school. They work remarkable numbers of hours. People have no idea unless you happen to be the spouse of a principal. They work remarkable numbers of hours, and we should thank all the spouses who are here for the sacrifices they make in that light. As you live in a community that expects the high school principal to be there for all the basketball games at the end of the night that end at about 10 o'clock, you don't remember that that principal is there at 6 or 7 in the morning to get the day started in the school. You start to measure out the number of hours that is, and yes, that's a really, really long day, and principals do that regularly. The great principals, I think, exemplify the saying about our children, that our children do not care what you know until they know that you care. And our principals care. The people in this room who are being honored today and many others around our state, they know all the kids in their school. And I'm not just talking about I can walk down the hall and say the names of the kids. They know their kids, and they know where they come from. They know what their issues are. They know how they can help care for them and help make them better. and care for them that go way beyond just educational leadership. It is amazing what our principals do. We can never thank them enough. So I say thank you, and thank you. And I say the same for all of our teachers, which is typically where all our principals came from in the first place. The Principal of the Year regional finalists whom we honor today have built strong relationships and accomplished so much more in their careers thus far. These leaders exemplify exactly what principals need to be and do in order for our public schools to succeed and, in fact, excel. I admire so much about these principals, and in particular the energy each of our regional finalists has shown in leading students, teachers, and staff every day. Their positive and encouraging attitudes are reflected in all those whom they guide and work within their schools. Their students are better people as they shape and form these folks for the future. They are better people because of the contact they have with our principals and the people in this room. This is an achievement of which not only they should be very proud, we should all be very proud of what they're accomplishing. Our finalists are principals who, despite roadblocks, are working relentlessly and passionately to move our North Carolina public schools forward. Thank you all for being outstanding educators, school leaders, and critical members of your school community. Thank you for being here and for your dedication to your teachers, for your dedication to your students, and in fact for your dedication to all the employees who are in your building and make it seem like a family. My best to each of you always.
Thank you, Dr. Martin and Mr. Duncan. There are so many well-wishers that wanted to be here today, and some have sent their support in several ways. So next on our program, you will hear from the Honorable Roy Cooper, the Governor of North Carolina. And when he cannot be here, he provides a message of inspiration to all of our finalists. So please turn your attention to the screens in this room, please.
Hi, everybody. Roy Cooper here. Congratulations to our Regional Principals of the Year. This is a well-deserved honor, and I'm glad to take a moment to recognize all that you do to support our schools. And I was so glad to welcome you guys at the mansion last week. We all know that the head of every great school is a great principal. And as the son of a public school teacher and a product of North Carolina's public schools, I've seen firsthand how important school leaders are to our communities. That's why we need to treat our educators like the professionals they are by providing the pay and respect that they deserve. As Regional Principals of the Year, your colleagues have recognized you as the best of the best. Thanks to the current Principal of the Year, Dr. Patrick Green. We're so grateful for your service and the example you've set for principals all across North Carolina. Congratulations again to all of our Regional Principals of the Year and to our soon-to-be named 2023 Principal of the Year. We're ready to work with you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Governor Cooper, for that fine message of inspiration and for supporting our Principal of the Year candidates. Wells Fargo is our flagship sponsor for the Principal of the Year program. Ms. Susie Kuntz, Community Relations Senior Consultant, please come forth and formally bring remarks on behalf of Wells Fargo and share more about the sponsorship.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Kuntz. I lead Wells Fargo Philanthropy and Community Impact statewide in North Carolina. In my role, I attend lots of annual meetings and lunches, and I can absolutely say without a doubt that this is my favorite event of the year. It's the most humbling and inspirational celebration that I attend. Unfortunately, as hard as I've tried, I've never made it through this event with a completely dry eye. So good luck to all of y'all today. There's so many positive stories of transformation happening within North Carolina school walls. Our principals are serving on the front lines, supporting teachers and students, addressing major community challenges like mental health, social media, and basic safety, all the while educating and empowering our future leaders for a better tomorrow. This dynamic leadership, professionalism, and personal dedication is truly inspiring. On behalf of more than 34,000 Wells Fargo employees in North Carolina, thank you. Thank you to all the school leaders and administrators who are here today. You are appreciated. Since 1984, Wells Fargo has collaborated with the Department of Public Instruction and supported the Principal of the Year program, providing financial support as well as employee volunteerism. In these 38 years, we have recognized 42 state Wells Fargo Principal of the Year recipients and 281 regional recipients, each one very deserving of this prestigious recognition. And I have to say that I'm thrilled that I've never been asked to serve on the final selection team. I can't imagine what a difficult job these people have. All of our regional winners being celebrated today have demonstrated a relentless drive to positively impact the lives of North Carolina's young people. Congratulations to each of you. Please join me in a round of applause for these outstanding individuals, and let's celebrate what they do to make our public schools such a success.
Thank you, Ms. Kuntz. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce to you the 2022 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year, Dr. Patrick Green. Dr. Green helped move his school, Green Central High, from one of the state's lowest performing to achieve high growth in the 2 years prior to the COVID pandemic. His leadership style is to focus on strong relationships with everyone in his school and in the community. Additionally, he started a program at Green Central High School for Spanish-speaking students. Please welcome our 2022 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year, Dr. Patrick Green.
Good afternoon. I have thought about this moment a lot and had prepared just to get up here and say a few words from the heart. And then last month at the Teacher of the Year ceremony, Leah decided to do a full slideshow and once again outdo me. So in my feeble attempt to compete with Leah once again, we're going to kind of go through the year of leadership and the opportunities that I've had. Over the past year, I've grown so much, and I've learned even more about leadership. I've always believed that good leaders do all they can to grow more leaders, and now is a time when leadership is needed more than ever before. Today, we get to celebrate school leaders in our state. Leaders step up and do things that are difficult. And being a leader is not so much about being in charge, but about taking care of those who are in your charge. This year, I have been seeing so much of this in action, and it has renewed my faith that our schools, our students, and our teachers are in great hands. Throughout this year, I've had the opportunity to work on several projects that were important to me personally. My first opportunity to advocate at a state board meeting involved redefining how principals are compensated. It's never been about the means for earning more, but as a way of advocating for a fair system that is representative of the hard work that school leaders do to build safe, equitable learning environments where educators and students can thrive beyond the measures of a state-mandated test. Through collective advocacy and the support of the Superintendent Truant, we effectively staved off pay cuts to almost 400 school leaders that guided their schools through the pandemic. While it was a major win, there is more work yet to be done, and again, it will require effective advocacy from all school leaders. I also assumed a role in the Whole Child Committee to work with community partners to address issues surrounding student needs for physical and mental health services so they can be healthy in every way when they arrive at school. We have all heard that people have their hierarchy of needs met before they can truly learn. You must Maslow before you can bloom. Today, principals must engage this difficult and necessary fact as a function of our jobs. Every school leader must do all they can to build supports for students that need it the most, even if that support that is needed has nothing to do with teaching and learning. I'm proud of the partnerships and work that has begun to support schools in tackling these problems, and I look forward to continuing the necessary work ahead. I also had the opportunity to work and help shape the vision of the Porch of a Graduate of our state schools and what we should be able to be beyond course curriculum. This is a set of durable skills and attributes that will carry our students farther in life because they reflect our values of them as people, as citizens, and as future leaders. Then I watched as our recognition of those values beyond a test score springboarded our belief that schools should be evaluated on metrics far above a reading or a math score. The work being done to reimagine our state school performance grades is innovative and can be powerful in helping bring so much of what effective school leaders do into the world of accountability. Schools are places that provide safe environments where we prepare students for the next phase of their life to be enrolled, enlisted, or employed in whatever they choose to be. Students who learn that value of showing up and working on challenges with a growth mindset so that they can carry that mindset into life. And schools are places where students can participate in a variety of interests and activities so they not only learn the value of group dynamics and fair play, but also can carry those values into the world as adults and civic-minded individuals. And all of this and more has kept me working very hard this year and pushed me to think differently about what education can be. The issues we face today are tough, but we continue to forge a new vision for our state. But none of this is possible without some amazing people that I have met and grown with along the way, and I would be eternally regretful if I did not take the time to thank those who guided and supported me from throughout this year. Thank you to Superintendent Truitt and the staff at the Department of Public Instruction for welcoming me in and treating me as one of their own. So many of them were willing to be thought partners on projects and treated me as a member of their team when I needed their information and support. I appreciate you. Thank you to the members of the State Board of Education for seeking the input of educators in the field and for valuing that input from experience. While my term as the state's POI is ending today, I remain excited about the year ahead and my continued work with the State Board. Thank you to the leaders of so many state organizations that have partnered with me over the years and supported me with this platform. The guidance of Mary Ann Wolf with the Public School Forum, Shirley Prince from NC Papa, and Brenda Berg of Best NC, to name just a few, has accelerated my learning of my role and given me a great opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you to the family of former North Carolina Principals of the Year and the guidance that they have given me along this journey. Elena Ashburn, Tabari Wallace, and so many others at this table here have been a support and were quick to rally for when our collective voice was needed. I aspire to paying forward your kindness, your generosity, and your friendship. And thank you to my team of regional principals of the year for the information they offered me and being a sounding board for issues. I'm smarter because I carry the knowledge in every. Every principal knows that while we may lead, it is the teachers that do the most vital work of our schools. Thank you to two amazing teachers who taught me so much about teaching and learning and about how to be a positive voice for change. Eugenia Floyd taught me that to be a voice for the 1.4 million school children that are in our state schools and to always put them first in every decision that we make. And to my dear friend and co-leader, Leah Carper, I have watched you become a cheerleader for education in so many ways. You've been a voice of positivity in a time when we needed to celebrate more and more often. But beyond your positivity, I watched as you were willing to lay out your own personal hardships as a student to remind us just how important it is that students need us. You will always be my favorite teacher, and I continue to stand in your incredible shadow every time I speak. Thank you, bestie. Thank you to my school for leading in my absence this year. My staff has done an amazing job in tackling so many of the things so that I could take on these new opportunities. I've always said that the best thing we do as leaders is build more leaders. This year put the leadership of my staff to the test, and they shined. I couldn't be more prouder of them. Great job, Rams. Most importantly, thank you to my family for supporting me and encouraging me throughout this year. I could never have taken on so much without them behind me. To my wife, Erica, and my daughters Riley and Reagan, they have always been my greatest supports and my greatest inspiration. They're literally the best people that I know, and so much of that work that I do as a principal is because of them. The family of every school leader takes on the challenges right along with us, and this year has certainly been no different. I appreciate your willingness to share in this year with me, and I could not have done it without you. And now, as I look forward to passing the torch, I remain inspired by the many school leaders that I've come to know. I traveled throughout dozens of districts and met leaders that are inspirational and are doing amazing things to support students, teachers, and communities. I've seen principals guiding instruction, supporting teacher capacity, defining their school culture, supporting students in times of crisis, and celebrating their schools when someone on their team was successful. I got to visit each of the 9 regional principals of the year here today and watch their humility as they were announced as regional winners. Each of them was quick to give all the credit of their success back to their team. That's what leaders do. They stand up and do the hard work when it's necessary and give the credit away when they overcome it. Principals are the vital leaders of our school, and while we do amazing things to advocate for students, our staff, and our communities, we do not always do the best job of advocating for ourselves and our profession. As a leader within the profession, it is now your job, Regional Principals of the Year, to take on the advocacy role for the thousands of principals in our state that are leading this most precious work. It is incumbent on today's honorees to honor the ranks of the leaders before them and be a voice for school leadership. We need your experience, your triumphs, your passion to carry our work forward. Welcome aboard to each of you. You have so much work left to do, and we need you so badly. On behalf of the 2022 Regional POY team and the team of past state POYs, I am ready to pass the torch to you. Thank you, North Carolina, for letting me carry it.
Thank you, Dr. Green, for your representation of all principals in North Carolina. Next up is Superintendent Catherine Truitt, who has consistently highlighted the crucial role that principals play in our public schools and fully supports the Principal of the Year program. Superintendent Truitt has been a teacher, worked in the governor's office, and served as chancellor of Western Governors University in North Carolina. Please help me welcome to the stage the Superintendent of North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, Ms. Catherine Truitt.
Patrick, I thought I was your bestie. Where's Leah? Oh, goodness gracious. You are tough to compete with, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. Good afternoon to you all, and welcome to the 2023 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year ceremony. It is such a privilege to be in this room with so much great leadership. I want to start, of course, by thanking our flagship sponsor, Wells Fargo. Of course, we cannot do this work without you. We're so grateful also for the partnership that we have with Jostens, No Kid Hungry, Education First, and Equitable Advisors, who make our live streaming possible. Your contributions make this day so meaningful and special for everyone here, because believe me when I tell you, this is a very special place, and we're so grateful that we can be together in such a beautiful space with such delicious food. And thank you to the wait staff here, because you treat us like we are kings and queens. Thank you so much. You all are such an elite group of educators. As I was listening to Susie speak, I thought, I'm glad that I'm not on the selection committee. I have a feeling that you all just maybe had the principals draw a straw in order to pick who gets to win, because they're all so amazing, and that really the winner today is just going to be the luck of the draw. You all are incredible human beings as well as servant leaders, and we're so lucky to have you working every day with students and teachers. I do want to start by recognizing Principal Green. I can't believe how quickly this year has gone by. I just so count you as a friend and a colleague, and I've learned a lot from you about how difficult it is to be a principal, never having been a principal myself. And you have been a force for principals statewide. Whether it was figuring out the hold harmless, as well as looking forward to what we're doing this session with trying to stabilize principal pay, take those wild swings out of it, add in more school complexity factors, we're going to get there, I promise you. And these changes that we're anticipating would not be possible if it weren't for you, Patrick Green. Your work on Portrait of a Graduate has been incredibly helpful. And I know that you share my concerns with the fact that we need more professional development and coaching for our principals, that how important mentorship is, and your ability to advocate for those in your profession is unparalleled. I have to say a big thank you to you and to Bari for working with me to message all of those important things to the General Assembly. Thank you so much. So for those of you who are here in this room today as finalists for the 2023 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year, you have been recognized for your leadership, your ability to empower students and teachers, and your success in setting the direction and vision and developing the leaders within your schools. John, you do this by having high expectations of all students every day. You prioritize being an instructional leader, which means that you support your teachers in improving their craft. This dedication to both students and teachers alike shows that you recognize how important everyone in your building is when it comes to student success. Ashley, you do this by taking a thoughtful approach to school leadership that never forgets what it's like to be a teacher. You value student agency such that it empowers not only students, but teachers as well. Recognizing that at the end, education is about people. Student responsibility to student achievement. Your leadership means that everyone is getting better every day at being their best. Jim, you do this by adapting your educational philosophy to meet the needs of your students. Your one-by-one approach to ensuring students thrive means that students are preparing for what comes next. Your students know that graduation is not an ending, but just the beginning. Donna, you do this by believing that student success is at the center of it all. Teacher support is the key to your leadership philosophy. You lead by example by working side by side with your teachers because you know that their success is your students' success. Tanya, you do this by prioritizing the physical and intellectual safety of your students because you know that meeting students' needs is paramount to their success. You model every day that expecting great things from students while being a compassionate educator leads to greater student achievement. Jessica, you do this by believing that culture trumps strategy every time. Belief in your students is at the core of your leadership philosophy, and you know that student voice is the key to improving outcomes for all children, and that positive relationships yield student growth. Rafika, you do this by taking a data approach, which I love, to improving outcomes for all students. You make school the place to be for adults and students alike, and your laser focus on literacy is at the heart of the way you serve children. TJ, where are you? There you are. You do this by knowing that collaboration is key when it comes to creating the best learning environment possible for students. You always ask, what can we do today to improve outcomes for kids? And then you follow through. I've always said that teachers are the key to reaching our North Star, but we can't do it without our principals, because principals are multipliers of excellence. So congratulations to each of you here today. It's an incredible accomplishment to be one of 9 finalists statewide. You should feel so proud of the lasting impression you've made on your schools and all of us in this room. Your students, teachers, staff, and parents, and I are thankful for what you do every day. And believe me when I tell you, Tabari's gonna be knocking on your door, asking you to come and join the Principal Advisory Committee, because we need your expertise and we need your voice and perspective at the table to help make outcomes better for all students. So now I am going to turn the microphone over to Dr. Jerry Oates, who is Deputy Superintendent of District and School Support.
Good afternoon. I'm Jerry Oates, and I am the Deputy Superintendent of Office of District and School Support Services at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And I'm honored to be here with you today as we celebrate these 9 outstanding finalists this year. John, Ashley, William, Jim, Donna, Tanya, Jesse, Rafika, and TJ all share a passion for students and a passion for their profession. Now I would like to welcome back our state superintendent, who's still standing right here on the stage, as we bring up our finalists, and you will be able to take a certificate and have your photo taken with the state superintendent. Presenting John Lassiter, Northeast Region Principal of the Year from Hereford Grammar School, Perquimans County Schools. John is accompanied by his spouse, mother, father, mother-in-law, and father-in-law. In addition, he's also accompanied by his superintendent and assistant superintendent. John, please come forward.
I would ask teachers often, why do kids raise their hand? And the answer that I would get back is because they know the answer. And I would encourage them that that's probably not the student that we want to call on. We want to call on the student who has a misconception that could be a teachable moment to the rest of the class. And so we really talked about ways that we could use equitable questioning to get all the students involved in the academic conversation in the classroom. Some of the techniques that we use are, every student has a whiteboard in their desk. So sometimes we'll walk into a math classroom and they're working out their math problems on their whiteboard, and then they have to show their teacher. Every student is accountable for doing their best and showing their teacher their work. It's okay to be wrong. That's our belief at Hereford Grammar School. It's not okay to not try. And so by using equitable questions, every student's accountable to participate in the academic conversations. And then the teacher has a better idea, is the skill truly mastered by the group? Not just, could one person raise their hand and answer the question correctly? Parents are sending us their best child. They're not keeping the good ones at home, right? And so it's our responsibility to help students who have barriers to learning or have obstacles that they didn't ask for, overcome those obstacles and be successful learners. We do that by helping them gain a passion for learning, again, fanning that flame, not filling the vessel, by teaching both character and content and making sure that students know that we'll never give up on them.
Presenting Ashley Falkenberry, Southeast Region Principal of the Year from Trent Park Elementary, Craven County Schools. Ashley is accompanied by her spouse and mother. In addition, she's also accompanied by her superintendent, assistant principal, HR director, and board chairperson. Ashley, please come forward.
I grew up in a family of educators, and I saw them preparing their students for success. What drew me to education was I wanted to make a bigger impact on students' learning needs in the classroom and prepare them to be productive citizens. We use continuous improvement at our school through a framework called Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDSA. Through this framework, we help identify areas that need support. We provide student voice and choice, where they get to select their learning strategies that work best for them as the learner. Students and classes set goals to see what needs to be improved. We are moving from a teacher-centered learning environment to a student-centered learning environment. We are meeting with PLCs weekly to look at data to determine what interventions need to be set for students. This is called Tiger Time at our school. Tiger Time is reading interventions, and students are broken into small groups based off their need and based off the data. They're flexible groups, and we switch them around anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to ensure that students are filling in the gaps and making sure that learning loss is being overcome. Throughout my educational journey, I have taught in every area of New Bern, and I now landed in the central region of of Craven County, where I serve Trent Park Elementary. We are a very diverse school, and this is unlike any of the other schools in our district, which we are very proud to have such a global.
Presenting Dr. William T. Logan, North Central Region Principal of the Year from Hillside High School, Durham Public Schools. William is accompanied by his mentor, relatives, colleagues, and friend. In addition, he's also accompanied by his superintendent and supervisor. Dr. Logan, please come forward.
My philosophy of education is largely, you just do what's right by people. The resources that we have at our disposal, you leverage those resources to help people get to where they aspire to be. Embrace the high-impact teaching strategies that were brought to our attention as administrators, and then actually bring that work back to our teachers and actually provide professional development and make sure that that professional development is ongoing in an effort to help teachers really embrace these instructional strategies that yield large results in terms of student achievement. And so one of the things like we're focused on right now is goal setting, helping students to develop goals for themselves as far as like what they want to learn within a particular unit or what they want to learn in a particular course, where they want to see themselves. The effect size of goal setting as it relates to student achievement is rather large. And so when we look at those 10 high impact teaching strategies, they all have a high effect size. And so I think a commitment to those high impact teaching strategies will definitely accelerate learning for our students. I'm just committed to the task that I've been assigned as a principal, and I just try to work diligently to make sure that my students, my colleagues, my superiors, and the community at large, they are provided a service, a quality service, and a quality experience here at Hillside High School, regardless of what their role is as a stakeholder.
Presenting Jim Butler, Sand Hills Region Principal of the Year from Richmond Senior High School, Richmond County Schools. Jim is accompanied by his spouse, sons, daughter-in-law, and colleague. In addition, he's accompanied by his superintendent and assistant principal. Jim, please come forward.
In all my schools, whether it was my time as a teacher or as an administrator, I just believe in school being a positive experience. For 8 hours a day, you get to be a student. It's not about surviving, and it's not about your responsibilities outside of school. You can just kind of find your place here. And coming out of COVID, some of my ideas and things about school have changed. I think we are losing some kids in our school system to the idea they don't need school as much. They don't really understand what the purpose is. And so I challenge our teachers that we have to be the most relevant thing in the world to them. That every teacher's got to be answering the question, why do I need to know this? You better be relevant. That what we're trying to do is make sure that every kid gets to what we call the starting line. We keep talking before about, we got to get you to the finish line at graduation. We want to change that and get you to the starting line. This is all training for what comes next. And so the only way to do that is to be relevant. So we give you tools to be successful in the military or in the workplace or at college. And so being relevant to me is the biggest thing, that there is a purpose so that you will stay in school. So that in the end, when students come across the stage at graduation and I hand them a diploma, I ask the question, what are you going to do next? And I don't have shrugging shoulders or a confused look, that they have a plan. And that's probably my biggest message, is we have to be relevant right now in preparing kids for what happens after they graduate.
Presenting Donna Bledsoe, Piedmont Triad Region Principal of the Year from Cedar Ridge Elementary, Surrey County Schools. Donna is accompanied by her spouse, father, sister, and colleague. In addition, she's accompanied by her superintendent, assistant superintendent, and board chairman. Donna, please come forward.
A lot of my life is born from my experience as academically as a student. It was very difficult for me to learn to read. As a young child, my earliest memories are being put into low reading groups and my mother crying to help me learn to read. And so when I became a principal and had the opportunity, one of the things that I wanted to change was to make sure that all students felt successful and found a love of literacy, because I believe that that is a pathway to change your world. You really honed in on what kids were missing, whether that was letter sounds, letter naming, nonsense words, and every week we do fluency checks of that. And so what we are seeing in gathering that data and graphing it for students, having it for ourselves, is that we are seeing kids move. Anytime we're in MTSS with our PLCs, there's an excitement from our teachers with this focus on really seeing the benefits of it. There's only one way to go, and we believe that we're going up with this. Very proud of how our teachers have implemented letters. That came through just this year for our teachers, and we see the needle move with their implementation. And so it's just been a perfect marriage for us. We understood read to achieve, but letters gave us the how to really achieve. And so I get excited in that process to work side by side with our teachers for student success.
Presenting Tanya Williams, Southwest Region Principal of the Year from Concord Middle School, Cabarrus County Schools. Tanya is accompanied by her spouse, mother, and father. In addition, she's accompanied by her superintendent, assistant superintendent, and board chair. Tanya, please come forward.
The heart and soul of what we do is making sure that every child has their basic needs met. We can help all of our students have a strong and firm education, but it has to start with that whole child. We have to make sure that they know that they are safe, that they are cared for, that they have all of their basic needs met, and then We will work on those educational pieces that are there because that's what we do, but we do it all together. It's all together as one. It's not separate pieces of our day. We have great tools out there, adaptive tools that can make that progress and help students and keep them moving along, but you have to constantly review, pull students together, making sure that you're pulling that data effectively, making sure that the groups of students that you're pulling are getting the needs met, utilizing your resources, your fiscal resources and your human resources appropriately to make sure that you're helping students within your building. But at the same time, you got to keep your personal standards high, because students can do it. If you set your standards high, your personal standards high, they can achieve. They will achieve. If you set it high and you give them the steps and the ability to get there, they will do. If you set them low, they're going to go low. So you've got to set them high. And that's what we really hit here at Concord. We have got to keep those standards high, our personal standards high for students, and then scaffold along the way for those that need the extra support.
Presenting Jessie Gravel, Northwest Region Principal of the Year, North Drexel Elementary School, Burke County Schools. Jessie is accompanied by her spouse, mother, father, and brothers. In addition, she's also accompanied by her superintendent and assistant superintendent. Jessie, please come forward.
I believe that not only can all students learn, but all students want to learn. And it is up to us as educators to create an environment that is engaging, that is rigorous, that they want to come be with their friends each day and learn. And also that adults are the ticket holders to kids' success. It's my job as the principal, it's my leadership team's job to create a culture and then climate that is conducive to joy. If adults like where they work, then our kids are going to make moves. I see it in there. I see that. I think that's often a stakeholder that we leave out of discussions. It's all about what are the adults saying. And I think out the mouth of babes, you will hear some great data. And so it is amazing even how our youngest students can articulate what works well for them. And then that's another data point for us to consider as a team when we are planning lessons, when we are designing classrooms, when we're talking about behavior procedures. It's really critical to make sure student voice is honored. I think that's the #1 piece of our academic programming here that we have at Drexel is relationships. I think that's what helps us move the mark. Never too late to have a restart conversation with students or with parents or any other stakeholder as needed. And I also believe in meeting students where they are. And when we use high impact instructional strategies, then I know that we'll get growth out of each and every student.
Presenting Rufika Cobb, Western Region Principal of the Year from Ira B. Jones Elementary School, Asheville City Schools. Rufika is accompanied by her spouse, sons, and daughter. In addition, she's accompanied by her superintendent, assistant superintendent, and director of recruitment. Rufika, please come forward.
All kids should feel safe at school. I think that all kids should enjoy coming to school, that they should have fun at school, and that they should have all the opportunities to achieve all the goals that they want to acquire in their lives. PLCs, it's where it happens. We often look at school-wide data. We do that through our data dives, and we create Tier 1 learning plans for all of our students. And for our students who need a little additional support, we also create Tier 2 and Tier 3 plans. We are continuously reflective, and we're always asking the question, well, what do we need to do differently? We approach looking at data through asset-based lenses instead of blaming students or saying, that if they would change this or if they did this differently, then they would learn. Instead, we're looking internally, and we ourselves are asking ourselves, what do we need to do differently so that we can make sure all of our students are learning? The best way to achieve equitable outcomes for all of our students is to make sure that they can read. I think that them being proficient readers, competent and confident readers helps to open up so many doors for them in their lives.
Presenting T.J. Worrell, Charter Schools Principal of the Year from Northeastern Academy for Aerospace and Advanced Technologies, North Carolina Charter Schools. T.J. is accompanied by his spouse, daughter, son, father, and stepmother. In addition, he's accompanied by his Chief Executive Director and Board Chair. T.J., please come forward.
This is a great honor to be named the Charter School Principal of the Year, but this is more about the team that has been created here at NEAT, the team that facilitates the work every day. We call our teachers coaches, and we work with our coaches to get beyond the past and try to really press to move forward, taking the circumstances as they are. One way we do that is we have created and branded our own continuous improvement process. We call it our 3D design process. It has 3 distinct phases of discover, design, and deliver. And we work at a faster cadence than I think most places do to improve student learning. So we're constantly looking at disaggregating data, and we're able to collect that data continuously. We don't have to wait for a summative assessment to see where a student's performing. We know today. We've even pushed this continuous improvement down to our students. So our students are using that to create learning goals using their own data. So our students are taking ownership of their learning. They understand where they may have gaps and where they need to improve, and they are able to work in conjunction with their coach in the classroom to improve. There are a lot of politics around charter schools in North Carolina. I would like to help create collaborative working relationships across all schools so that we can share practices, see what's working, and really impact all of our students, because at the end of the day, as a public institution, that is our responsibility.
Now at this time, would all of the finalists please stand so that we can give you all a final round of applause. Now that the moment you've all been waiting for, but first I think I'll tell us, no, I won't tell a story. Mr. John Ward, Executive Vice President, Market Executive at Wells Fargo, will present to you the 2023 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year. Mr. Ward.
Well, my congratulations to all the regional finalists. As was already said today, it would be really hard to be on this final selection committee, but congratulations. It is now my honor and privilege to announce the 2023 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year. This person believes that it is important that their school not only build the leadership capacity of key staff, but help all feel revered as positive, contributing members to the total school improvement and success, from their newest members to their veterans. Reimagined their school mission, vision, and belief statement around their organizational values, as they expect all staff to champion for students, expect excellence from one another, and believe that every child deserves the right to be a part of something great. Believes that effective instructional leadership takes place by working in partnership with staff to support and guide the execution of best practices in teaching and learning. School was awarded the prestigious 2022 North Carolina Association of Supervision and Curriculum Development Lighthouse Award for schools that have furthered student achievement in innovative and creative ways and have nurtured a positive and supportive school and community atmosphere. We hope today that the scholars at Cedar Ridge Elementary School are inspired by the fact that their principal, Donna Bledsoe, is the 2023 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year. Please welcome Donna back to the stage.
Wow. First, I want to thank our sponsors. Thank you, Wells Fargo, No Kid Hungry, Education First, Jostens, and Equitable Advisors. Your role in spotlighting educational leaders is so appreciated. Next, thank you to my family. Leaders are surrounded by a community that supports them in order to build up others. Thank you to my husband and my children who take on these leadership roles as my partners. Thank you to my biggest cheerleaders in the room, my dad and my sister. You're my foundation and my heart. Thank you to my amazing school family, represented today by my phenomenal school counselor. I can only imagine there's lots of cheers that way. Leaders are only as good as the people who choose to follow them, and I stand here today because I have student-centered leaders sitting in a building in Low Gap. To say there is no principal award without a great staff, and I'm very grateful to Cedar Ridge Elementary. Thank you to my leadership team and board, specifically Dr. Travis Reeves, who took a chance on a 21-year-old, giving me my first teaching position, and believed in setting a path of leadership for me at that early stage. I'm so grateful that in a new school district, our paths crossed again, and you believed in me and gave me my first principal job. Everyone should have a leader who sets an example of putting students first, and you show that every day. Thank you to our state superintendent, Catherine Truitt. Keep pushing forward for students. Thank you for the implementation of letters. I've seen the rewards in year one, including an email I got today about how wonderful our scores look because of this. Literacy is the most equitable practice we can forge for all students, and I'm excited for the future of North Carolina. Lastly, I'm here today because of my mother. the woman who showed perseverance by finishing her degree later in life and believing education is the greatest career where no matter the day, joy can be found in a classroom of children. It is my belief as a leader from this example that we search each day for the joy. Mine comes from a note on my door that says, "Miss Bledsoe, you are my safe place." From the staff member who says, "I know you believe in me." As a principal, the work is often lonely and stressful as we deplete our cups to fill the cups of those around us as servant leaders. But if we keep in our hearts the joy and the blessing of each day, we are reminded of how blessed we all are to serve. It is something that I will never take for granted. Thank you for this honor, and I look forward to serving humbly in the role with my amazing cohort, of whom I can say I am in awe of and grateful just to have been considered among you all. I look forward to doing great things together. I believe we can. Again, thank you, and blessings to you all as you depart today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward, for that announcement. What a wonderful event. What a wonderful celebration. Thank you all so much for coming. And most of all, congratulations, Donna Bledsoe. We look forward to supporting you, Donna, during your year representing North Carolina principals, and it has been my honor to host and organize this year's ceremony. The success of today was made possible by many dedicated individuals. Thanks to the families and support systems for all of our finalists, and the adventure for the 2023 Principal of the Year cohort is just beginning. Many thanks to the Regional Education Facilitator, Tina Starr, the project lead, and the State Recognition Committee. Thank you all for the many hours of planning, and it was many hours, folks, to make this day special for our finalists. To the District and Regional Support Division, Communications, Graphics Division, the Office of Charter Schools, Child Nutrition, and DPI leadership, thank you for your role in making this day a success. Now, the floral arrangements on the tables are gifts of appreciation from Wells Fargo and are reserved for our finalists and special guests. Sponsors and finalists, please report to the terrace for photos. Sponsors and finalists, please report to the terrace for photos. Sponsors and finalists, please report to the terrace for photos. Y'all don't know how hard that is to do. So. Anyway, thank you all for coming, and please enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.